News tonight. The president is laying off more than 4,000 federal workers as punishment, it seems, for the government shutdown. Now, with Congress deadlocked and no end in sight, the White House budget director posted this ominous message on X. Quote, the reductions in force.
There's a moment on CNN's Phillip tonight that perfectly sums up the entire MAGA strategy. Say something outrageous, deny it with a grin, and then accuse everyone else of doing exactly what you're doing. And no one embodies that better than Scott Jennings, the self-appointed defender of Trumpism who's turned smug deflection into an art form. Before we dive into the full story, comment where you're watching from, and don't forget to like and subscribe so you don't miss the next one. So here's what happened. Scott Jennings shows up on Phillip's panel, ready to talk about the ongoing government shutdown and the upcoming No Kings rally, a protest aimed squarely at Donald Trump's authoritarian streak. And right from the start, you could tell exactly where this was headed. Jennings wasn't there to discuss solutions or facts. He was there to perform. Smirk locked in place, spin dial set to maximum. The irony, he accuses others of being disingenuous while sitting there doing precisely that. Every sentence he delivers sounds like a rehearsed line from a political theater playbook. Deny, deflect, and distract. The man could win an Olympic medal in selective outrage. It's the same performance every time. Act like the reasonable adult in the room while twisting reality into pretzels. Then shake your head in mock disbelief when someone calls it out. What makes it even more laughable is how confidently he throws around words like misinformation, as if he's not one of cable news' top distributors of it. So tonight, we're going to walk through this CNN panel clip by clip and unpack exactly how Scott Jennings plays this game. Because what we saw on Phillip's show wasn't just another debate about policy, it was a masterclass in projection. And by the end, you'll see why calling other people disingenuous might just be Scott Jennings' favorite form of irony. Let's get into it.
News tonight. The president is laying off more than 4,000 federal workers as punishment, it seems, for the government shutdown. Now, with Congress deadlocked and no end in sight, the White House budget director posted this ominous message on X. Quote, the reductions in force have begun. Now, the largest union for the federal employees, representing more than 800,000 workers, quickly responded in turn, writing, quote, the lawsuit has been filed. The layoffs include 7 different departments, and the president confirmed them tonight, putting the blame squarely on Democrats.
How many layoffs have you authorized for this first round, and from which agencies?
And it will be Democrat-oriented because we figure, they started this thing, so they should be Democrat-oriented. It'll be a lot, and we'll announce the numbers over the next couple of days, but it'll be a lot of people, all because of the Democrats.
We have a congresswoman with us tonight, so I'll direct this question to you. How long do you think that this shutdown will go on, and how much pain, I think, are Democratic leaders willing to absorb? Because those 4,000 workers probably won't get their jobs back after this, because this is what Russ Vought and President Trump have wanted to do all along.
So you're actually right, Abby. This is what they've wanted to do all along. They started firing people in February. So this idea that this is something new that they're doing is not necessarily true. They were going to fire people no matter what happened. And this is unfortunate because the Republicans control the House, the Republicans control the Senate, the Republicans control the White House. So any shutdown that we have is 100% on them. They fully own this.
Who's voting against the continuing resolution in the Senate right now? Which party is voting against it?
So there may be a party voting against it.
Which
but
party
if
is it,
you
though?
want to,
Not a party, which?
If you want to get someone to come in your direction, you offer an olive branch to say, here's what we can do together. There's no desire to do that on the part of the Republicans who have the majority. Well, so that's what's happening right now, Scott.
So basically, she won't say it. The Democratic Party is refusing to vote for a continuing resolution in the Senate that they voted for 13 times when Joe Biden was the president. You asked how long this is going to go on. You go on CNN.com right now and you can read an article where a Democratic advisor said, quote, this will keep going until planes start falling out of the sky. That is the kind of political party we're dealing with.
Let me just read what you're referring to. Two things. One, Punchbowl, Senator Schumer is quoted saying, every day gets better for us. And today, in CNN reported, another senior Democratic aide said, as long as public perception is in their favor, the party will not concede short of planes falling out of the sky. Now, I don't know that either of those quotes, frankly, are well advised. But the second point that this Democratic aide is making is that public opinion is in their favor. Do you think that's true, Kara?
You know, I don't think anyone likes the government to be shut down or dunking like that, just what happened here. I mean, I think most people, because it's
to tell the truth about things
Scott,
things about being said in the
press.
press.
No, but it's reductive. You're all trying to
You're
do the
upset
team
that I
thing.
read a quote from a Democrat back?
I'm not upset. You know how that quote was. Republicans make all kinds of nonsensical comments.
You can make apologies for it.
I'm not making an apology for it. You're doing it again. I mean, I know it works with other people, but it doesn't work with me in that case.
That's because I read the news. And
No, oh, right, I don't read the news.
But here's the one thing
Hold
that's
on, let's
missing
let
from
Kara
this.
finish her thought, please.
Nobody likes this, and the idea of the teams of it is kind of ridiculous. The people of the country want government to function. Even with the continuing resolutions, they want it to function. They want to pass budgets. Everybody does that every day in their own homes, and so I don't think anybody wins in this thing.
The other part of it, though, even while these statements from Democrats are what Scott is pointing to, the president literally today said, we're going to target the pain at workers who they describe as Democrats. Now, I don't know the politics of these workers who are employed in the federal government, but it sure does seem like on the president's part, his version of a victory lap to say, we're going to fire people as punishment for what Democratic leaders in Congress are doing.
I mean, it's called leverage. We're in a pretty big fight here over the government. But those workers are members of unions who give 100% of their donations to Democrats. Let's remember who they support and what they do. But I want to talk about.
But is that what you're saying? That
Yeah, it's like, well,
hold on. Is what you're saying that the punishment for this
Well, I think
should be leveled at workers who are Democrats?
I'm just pointing out a fact. That the fact is that these unions that they're a part of, these unions give 100% to Democrats. That is a fact.
So what?
There's nothing.
Yeah, and these workers are Republicans too.
But so what? That's what I'm trying to understand. Is
it's
like
called leverage. That's
for
what they
people
use.
at home who are watching this and are trying to understand. Okay, if there's a dispute here about who's doing a victory lap, you have the president basically saying, if you're a Democrat, we're going to punish you, even if you're not in Congress. You can't.
And here's where the hypocrisy hits peak altitude, because now we've got not just Scott Jennings, but another MAGA mouthpiece, Lance Troyer, tagging along to double down on the same tired narrative. Both of them side by side, acting as if they're the voices of reason while parroting the same disingenuous talking points. It's the same performance, just with a different actor reading the script. Scott Jennings, once again, lectures others about being disingenuous, but honestly, coming from him, that word has lost all meaning. It's like a con artist accusing someone else of trickery, and while he's wagging his finger at Democrats, the reality is painfully clear. Republicans are finally living out the dream they've whispered about for decades, shrinking the government from the inside out. Think about it. Under Trump's leadership, the federal government isn't just paralyzed by shutdowns, it's being gutted intentionally. Thousands of federal workers laid off, departments under siege, agencies crippled, not by accident, but by design. And then, with a straight face, people like Jennings look into the camera and say, it's the Democrats' fault. But here's the thing, voters aren't blind. The American public can see exactly what's happening. The GOP, fully in control, pulling every lever of power, is now blaming everyone else for the mess they created. It's like setting fire to your own house, then shouting at the neighbor for calling 911. And make no mistake, this isn't just about bureaucrats losing jobs, it's about ideology. Cutting the size of government has always been the golden prize for the MAGA movement. Every layoff, every shutdown, every budget slash is celebrated as a win, but the cost is enormous. Families losing stability, communities losing services, and millions of Americans facing higher healthcare premiums. That's the other piece Scott Jennings doesn't want to talk about. The Affordable Care Act subsidies, the lifeline helping families afford basic healthcare, are being held hostage in this political game. Democrats are refusing to give them up, and rightly so, because surrendering them would mean skyrocketing premiums, the kind that crush working families. But for Jennings and his MAGA crew, that suffering is just collateral damage. They don't lose sleep over whether your health insurance jumps to $10,000 a month. Compassion isn't in the playbook. Control is. They'll gladly gut healthcare assistance if it means cutting government spending they never liked in the first place. So when Scott Jennings goes on CNN and claims Democrats are the problem, remember, he's not trying to tell the truth. He's trying to spin chaos into politics. It's not about good governance. It's about power, ideology, and keeping the outrage machine running.
Read the
spin.
quotes
No, that's
from
the spin.
Schumer and the Democratic, but I'm asking about the president's comments too, because those are relevant.
The president's comments are relevant, but it is called leverage in this fight over keeping the government open. That's what both sides do. Your side thinks they have leverage right now over this healthcare issue, but I was going to quote one of your own members of colleagues, Jared Golden, who sent out an email to all of his constituents today. And in the question it said, there's one Democrat who said, what does this healthcare fight have to do with keeping the government open? Absolutely nothing. You guys could go and vote and put these people back to work right now, but you don't want to do it because, again, yes, Chuck Schumer is scared of AOC, fighting him in New York. I mean, that's the only reason they're holding out on that.
This has nothing to. Here's the deal.
It has everything to do with
15 million people losing health care is not a trivial matter. And here's the issue. Okay, government stays open. Do you know how often this Republican administration goes back on what they say? So they can say, oh yeah, we're gonna cut a deal with you. Everything's gonna be fine. And then they go back and do rescissions and they cut everything they said they would do. So they cannot be trusted. That's the issue here. And let's talk about this. That's the big issue in all of this.
When does the
No
healthcare
one
issue
likes a government shutdown. But here we are right now. 15 million people losing health care. 70% of people in nursing homes actually get that paid through Medicaid. Taking food from hungry children. These things are simply unacceptable to Democrats.
Let me play one more comment. This is from Speaker Mike Johnson, and he was visibly angry and upset today. I mean, yesterday he had a pretty rough day. He was hearing from constituents on C-SPAN, but he is claiming that Democrats are holding out on reopening the government because of a rally that's scheduled on October 18th. Listen.
I'm a very patient guy, but I have had it with these people. They're playing games with real people's lives. The theory we have right now, they have a Hate America rally that's scheduled for October 18th on the National Mall. It's all the pro-Hamas wing and the Antifa people. They're all coming out. Some of the House Democrats are selling T-shirts for the event, and it's being told to us that they won't be able to reopen the government until after that rally because they can't face their rabid base. I mean, this is serious business hurting real people. And I'm beyond words.
I am beyond words. There's only one rabid base on the mall most recently, in January 6th. It's a rally. It's called No Kings. It's not called the Hate America rally. How ridiculous that is. It's just a rally. And
Have
again,
you been to one of these rallies? Have you seen the signs they carry?
Oh,
Seen the signs they carry? Have you seen the signs they carry?
They're all the same.
Impeach, imprison, fascist, F
Put her in
Trump.
jail.
Wait, hold on.
These aren't people who aren't exactly rooting for America.
Lance, I don't think that's the domain of Democrats. I don't think that is the exclusive domain of Democrats.
By the way,
Hold on, Lance. I don't think that any of those things that you just said are the exclusive domain of Democrats. The current president of the United States campaigned on lock her up and then lock up the person who beat him in the 2020 election. So, but Kara's point is actually much more basic. It's a protest. It's an anti-Trump protest. But it is a protest, and we are allowed to do that in these United States of America, are we not?
I never argued against that. I'm just saying these aren't people who are exactly cheering on America right now.
You can't decry government layoffs on the one hand and say, well, we at least got to keep it closed long enough to have our rally on the other. I mean, it makes you sound disingenuous to be upset.
I don't know. I'm not sure where. Look, I'm not sure where Mike Johnson's hearing that, but maybe he's hearing that.
He didn't. He made it up.
I also would say that Mike Johnson seems to also be in a different place from the president because he is saying that this is hurting people. Meanwhile, the executive branch is saying, well, this is our golden opportunity to fire people. So which one is it?
Well, Mike Johnson, I think, is understandably upset. He is the Speaker of the House. They went on the floor, and he led his party to pass a continuing resolution to keep the government open. I think he's enormously frustrated that he can't get Democrats to do the same thing in the United States Senate. He's done his job. They've done their work. The government would be open if Mike Johnson and the Republicans in the House had their way.
At this point, the pattern is crystal clear. Scott Jennings just keeps circling back to the same tired claim that Democrats are somehow to blame for everything. It's one MAGA loyalist propping up another, with Jennings defending Speaker Mike Johnson as if he's the victim here instead of one of the main architects of the chaos. Meanwhile, the upcoming No Kings protest, a peaceful rally against Trump's authoritarian streak, has Jennings and his MAGA partner in spin, Lance Troyer, clutching their pearls. They call the protesters anti-American for holding signs that criticize Trump, conveniently forgetting that Trump himself has called everyone from Joe Biden to Kamala Harris fascists. The hypocrisy practically writes itself. Here's the truth. MAGA doesn't actually believe in protest, not even peaceful protest. They condemn violence on paper, but when athletes quietly kneel or citizens march with signs, suddenly that's unpatriotic. It's not about the method, it's about control. And here's the irony in America. You don't have to cheer for the country to have rights. You can criticize it, protest it, even dislike it. That's the whole point of freedom. But figures like Jennings refuse to admit that, because in their version of patriotism, dissent equals disloyalty. So, when the No Kings protest happens, don't be surprised when Jennings pops back up on CNN, smirking through another round of bad faith outrage about mean Democrats holding mean signs. It's the same show every night. The same performance, just a different headline. Jennings doesn't debate in good faith. He performs. And as long as that continues, the truth will always come second to the spectacle. Make sure to drop your thoughts below. Do you agree with Abby Phillip's sharp pushback or with Jennings' constant spin? Hit like, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.